thank you so much for being here. Valentina
Thank you for
and
having
I,
me.
thank you. Valentina and I, we met on a paid offer from another coach, and since then we have been connecting and engaging, and it has been such a pleasant connection with Valentina. I like her very much. She's very straight to the point, and she let us before I keep speaking, introduce yourself, tell us what you do, who you help, and how you went to working on the boundaries, how this went for you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I am a teacher, a trainer, and a coach, like business coach, business mentor, but working more on this side of like strategy. And I mostly work with service-based businesses, whether these are in person or online. And at present, I focus a lot on offer optimization, launching and scaling businesses. It started with a passion for tech, then it went to digital marketing. And then I realized that every time I was talking to people about the digital marketing, there was a problem with the offer or the launch, or so it was not just marketing, it was more behind that. So this is what I do right now. Now, with the boundaries, as I was saying, I'm also a teacher, so I run 2 online businesses right now, language school and let's say a mentorship academy, coaching and mentorship academy. And before this, so I've been doing this for 8 years now, but before this, I had 2 in-person businesses. A language and music school and a professional training center. Those centers that give you the CPD certifications. So we used to run these types of training. So I've been in business for 16 years. And when I started, I was 25. I came from corporate. I had worked in corporate for 2 years, and I came with very like multinational, like corporate mindset with meetings every week and certain boundaries, which in time disappeared because teachers are expected to be understanding. And when I say teacher, by the way, I'm not a school teacher. So I've never taught in schools. I'm a trainer, which means I work with adults and I specialize in adult teaching and learning psychology, first of all. So I've been working with adults. So in order to get to boundaries, that I started having problems with my clients, like all of us, because most of the time, and this is a big problem, when we start our businesses, we don't think about this. We mostly think about the offer that we want to put out there. We are very happy that we can finally do what we want. And we would work with anyone because we want to get clients and we want to get the money. So I did like everyone else, had an offer, put it out there, started working with people, and then problems came. Like people were canceling or not paying or going on holiday, or when the school grew and we also started working with kids, because I had a team of 20 something teachers, and so it was a big thing. Kids, of course, got sick, parents got upset not being able to send them to classes. So I didn't have proper boundaries, and that affected my business. Things that we were told as teachers were, you are in this only for the money and not, to be understanding, or something else that I'm being told. I'm being told much less now. But I used to be told quite a lot, like, you're a parent, you're a mom, you should understand. So they've been using these things against me. And, I felt like, no, I'm not in it just for the money, because, teachers are like the caring professionals, not just teachers, but vocational jobs. I'm not saying the others are not, but that's how we normally perceive them. And so people expect teachers to put themselves last and to be understanding, and they didn't understand that that was my job. That was the thing that was making me money. I lived from that. So, you know, you wouldn't like going to your job and being told, you know, go home and you're not going to be paid. Like, you expect if someone has booked to come, show up, do the work and pay you. So that's how I started with the boundaries, the fact that I didn't have them myself.
I can resonate with that. In the beginning of this business, I didn't also have, because the previous business I had, I worked with people, although I also needed some buttons, but it wasn't on this level. It was about product-based business, and it's different. Although boundaries need to take place still, but in this business, yes, it happened. Do you feel that for introvert entrepreneurs, setting boundaries should come right in the marketing we do?
So the problem with introverted entrepreneurs, because although you see me like quite chatty right now, is because I know you and I trust you, and so I can open up. But mostly, you know, I'm an introverted, and the problem that we have as introverted entrepreneurs is that sometimes we are afraid, let's say, to communicate our boundaries. So is this, and it's also, you know, like we want to please people, we want to keep the client, we don't want to feel rejected. So it's really important to understand that we need boundaries for us and for our businesses. And the way because this is like the, you know, the thing that's really important for everyone, the way I was able to enforce them was to, first of all, write down everything that I wanted, and I'm going to come back to this, what that means. And I also wrote down, and this is something you should do if you haven't done. This is something you should start doing when someone doesn't act like they should according to the contract, to the boundaries, to what you expect them to do. Write down how you feel and what the problem was, because sometimes as introverts we accept a lot, and we accept again and again and again and again, and at one point we become upset with us, like, why can't I you know, stand up for myself, stand up for my business, and I accept all those things. And one of the things is to write down how you feel and what happened and what you would have loved to happen. And in time, you are going to get a list. And even when you have this list, continue doing it until there are no things that can surprise you and everything has been covered. So the simplest way of doing this is to have the list of boundaries, and I'm going to discuss what that means in a second, all the things that this can include, and then add them to your terms and conditions and contract. So people, before they start working with you, they should know all the boundaries that you have. And also, I don't just use them in my terms and condition and contracts, I use them on my sales page. For example, in the FAQs at the end of the sales page. Now, you know that I have a specific business model, which is I only work 3 weeks during any given month. So for example, this month I've worked 2 weeks. Starting next week, I'm going to be 2 weeks on holiday. And then I'm going to have the third week of this month at the end of the month. That's how it happens. So when people come working with me, they shouldn't be surprised that we only work 3 weeks. They have to know this is something I would expect to know if I joined someone else's program.
It's also interesting on your communication to tell upfront what we expect from the people who will work with us, not only how we operate, or in your case, how you operate, but also what you expect from people you will work with.
Yes. So when we have our terms and conditions and contracts, we need to understand that these have obligations, but for both parties. So of course obligations, and also what each of the parties is going to receive, but there are also obligations, and everything needs to be written down. You know, talking to people, telling people it's okay, but at the end of the day, it only matters what is written down. And I feel, you know, as I was telling you, with a sales page, not just with the contracts and terms and conditions, but with the sales page, is really important to tell them what my expectations of you are and what your expectations of me are. Because when you don't have clear boundaries, and when you don't tell people how you operate and how you expect them to act in certain situations, you are not going, I know this attraction thing is like very popular now, but you are not going to attract the right kind of people, the people that you want to work with. And in the beginning, I know we want to work with everyone because we need the money, we need the experience, but at one point you become fed up and you want to work with people who really put in the work, who really show up. So when, for example, let's say about payments. So about payments, my clients can pay in full and they get between 8 and 10% discount if they do that. But then I have payment plans. I say and I write down the fact that when they join the program, they buy a program with a fixed duration. I don't offer lifetime access to anything in any of my businesses. That's because something can happen, and whose lifetime are we talking about? Or, you know, if something is on Facebook and they delete stuff after 30 days now. So I don't do that. So they know they get a program which is fixed, has a fixed duration, and they can also pay it in installments. But if they choose the payment plan, they have to pay for all the program, even if at one point they decide not to continue anymore because it's not what they want to do in life. I'm very sure that the programs work because I put a lot of market research into them, and that's actually one of the methodologies that I teach you to my clients, in order to make sure that the offers work. So if you buy an offer for me, it's been tested, and usually it's been tested by offering for free to some people or at a discounted price, so to practice on someone. And once you get the results, then you can be sure that when I tell you, if you show up, if you do the work, if you come to this call, if you do this homework, then you are going to have results. And I expect you to put in the work to have the results, because if you put in the work and have the results, I'm also going to have the results. Like, I represent you on how I show up, you represent me through the work that you do. And if people don't put in the work, then your business, people won't know that you're good, and your business won't survive. So yes, tell them what your expectations of them are at every point. For example, in the in-demand offer creator offer that I'm promoting now, they have 2 modules. They have to go through and do 2 pieces of homework before they get to the first live call. And you can't come to the first live call unless you do the homework, because I can't actually do the call, what we need to do during the call, the big promise and some things regarding the curriculum, until you've done the work at home. So I expect of you to know what to work when. So I tell you what to work, when to work, how it's going to happen, how many times we meet, when we meet, what you need. I give you everything, but I need you through to come and do the work and help me help you. Let's say.
Yes, yes, and that's very important because, mm, like we normally say, we do the max of the 50%, but the other part needs to do the max of the other 50, right? So both parts have success in the offer. Yes, so that's really important. So people can have real results. Do you feel these boundaries also improve it in some way, how you show up for your business?
Yes, because you are not resentful anymore. So when you don't have boundaries and people can DM you at any time, people don't show up to calls, people cancel 1 hour before, people go on holiday and forget that you exist, you become resentful, and you also start doubting yourself, like, am I really cut out for this? I know I'm good at this, but I'm not very good at business. It's not that you're not good at business. Most of the time when we start our businesses, we start because we are passionate about something and we want to share it with people, and we only think about that, about our expertise and how we can offer it to people. But in order to make money, we need to also get those business skills, and those business skills, which are business management, business finances, these are things we also need to learn. And business is not difficult if you just realize that you need them and you start learning about them and implementing them. So yes, now that I have clear boundaries, I can show up, and I know that when I show up full, they are going to show up full. And I know that if I have those boundaries, they are going to protect me, and I'm going to love doing my job. Now, the boundaries that I have are different. For example, there are many coaches who say, don't DM me. The first thing I learned from my first coach was that Google is your best friend. And if you don't know something, Google it. And this is true. Yeah, this is something that everyone should do. But my clients can DM me. Actually, we have an app with channels and also private channels. And also I have that, the number of messages I actually receive is very low. That's for example, I don't receive almost anything at weekends, and it is my choice if I want to answer or not. But during the week, if I get a message from 1 or 2 people, that is max. Now, when you tell people, for example, to DM you, they can DM you at any time. But in my boundaries, I have that I'm only going to answer you between 4 and 6 UK time. So first of all, when I'm going to answer, so you're not going to send me a message and you're going to stay near the phone. Isn't she answering? Why isn't she answering? And I'm going to do it between 4 and 6. I also have, as I was saying, my 3-week working business model. 3-week working English. My English is not with me today. And they know that this applies with between 4 and 6 during these 3 weeks. I do offer emergency support during my weeks off in case anything happens, or if someone has a launch, and during launches people are very stressed. But I almost never get messages during the weeks off. But that is because I communicated clearly my boundaries. I said how much I work, when I work, and when they can expect me to show up. Also, I have very clear things about how much, for example, in my other business, because as I was telling you, I run 2 businesses, sometimes I have some things to correct, and how many I do a week, and when I send the feedback. So the correction is it takes a maximum of 3 working days. You can only send me 2 things. Otherwise, if it's more than 2, you just have to wait for next week. I'm also a translator. So just so you know, I'm a workaholic, yeah? So I like working, but I don't work full time. Normally now I work between 10 and 3 in my 2 businesses. So I also do translations from time to time, but I do like templates, the ones that are very simple, just certifications, diplomas. And for that, I am going to deliver that between 3 and 5 working days. So the first thing that I tell you is how I work, and when I work, and how much it costs, and how you can pay me, and what my rules are. I have the politics of no refunds policy. Of no refunds, and as I was saying, all payments need to be paid, even if people decide at one point that they want to do something else. So this is really important important for us and for a good business.
Yes, you shared so many good things, and I need to recap this and take some notes to improve. When I began, and I told you I didn't have many boundaries settled, I needed to fire at least one client. I remember she was passing the boundaries in almost all ways. So I needed to fire it. Do you nowadays? I believe you don't have to reach to that point, but did you have to reach that point on an online business when you didn't have those boundaries settled?
If I had to reach the point of firing a client,
Yeah.
let me see. Because as I was telling you, I came after 8 years of having the businesses, so it was a bit different. Sometimes I also don't share my story too much because it's not really relatable. Like I came with 8 years of business experience behind, and also the teaching and everything I had done. I just restarted them online. I did have clients. I did have. I had um so when I started working online, at first I started working mostly one-to-ones. Then I transitioned all of my one-to-ones in 1 week into groups because there were too many, and I didn't have any free time. I couldn't grow my business further than that. And I then started implementing some boundaries, but not all the ones that I have today. And one of the boundaries that I didn't have, and which was like the silliest thing ever, was exactly the boundary that if you pay in installments, you need to pay all the installments. I didn't have that written down. I just thought it was like common sense for people. So there was this person who came, and like I didn't fire her. I'm going to tell you what happened. But that's the one of the bad things that happened. I never had to fire a client. Because, for example, if they didn't pay and they ghosted me, there was nobody to fire. And for the others, I always said, you know, if something at one point came up and annoyed me, I always said that because I had it until here. And if the person understands, they understand. If no, no. But with that person, it was interesting because she paid the first month, she paid the second month, and then she decided to renovate her bathroom, to redecorate the bathroom. And she showed me pictures of what she wanted to do, and then she didn't pay. She stopped paying. She said, you know, I can't continue, and so on. And I didn't have those boundaries then. That was the moment I got really upset, and I introduced this boundary. She came, so after a few years, she came back, I think last year in October or November, and she asked me if she could start classes. I said, but of course. And I was like, I can hardly wait to send you my terms and conditions now so you can read them. And she read them. She actually pressed the button to pay, and I could see in my Stripe that she had initiated the payment. And then she messaged me saying, you know, so they fired themselves basically. She said, I would like to join, but because you have this thing now of having to pay all the installments, all the payment plan, I can't join because maybe at one point I would like to give up. I was like, okay, it works. So she basically, yeah, it worked, and I was really happy because if she wanted to come back, I would have taken her. We didn't fight or anything. It was my fault. And most of the time, with boundaries and everything that we have, it's our fault. It's not the client's fault. It's our fault. We don't have them, and they do what they think they should be doing. That's how they think. If you had the boundaries and if you communicated the boundaries, they would respect them because you told them from the very beginning. But if you don't have them, so it's not their fault, it's your fault because you don't have them. Now, as an introverted person, I also had a problem with the boundaries, communicating the boundaries. And I put them in my terms and condition contract. And now people don't perceive me as mean. It's not Val who is mean. It's my terms and conditions. It's not me. I am a very nice person. I really want to help you. But these are my terms and conditions. This is what I apply to all my clients. And it's not fair to my other clients to act in another way than written down. So I think this is one of the most important things for introverts, is to, if you can't say them, tell the boundaries, because you are, you don't want to disappoint them, feel rejected, and so on, whatever. Don't want to lose them, whatever it is your problem. Hurt them, be not a nice person, okay, whatever the problem is, it's not you. It's the terms and conditions. So that's why it's important to have boundaries for your business written down. And that was not just a thing for them, it was also a thing for me, because I'm a person who likes respecting rules. I need rules, policies. I need things like this. You give me steps, I follow them. I'm very honest from this point of view. So if I have them, I also follow them. It's it's like they also make me do them, they also make the clients do them, and it's a win-win for everyone. So write them down and present them as, I'm nice, but those terms and conditions, they are mean. But they are mean to everyone.
Yes, I love that. It's kind of it's mandatory for everyone, right? They don't feel that it's just, oh, it's on me. She doesn't like me. No, it's for everyone, and it's all like following the law, right? And telling me that it also makes you, because you like the rules and follow the rules, and you also do that. It reminds me. I don't remember how long it was, but I was on a call with another coach. It was a terrible one because I felt forced to be there. So he was teaching me, and I was not interested, and also I was paying for another offer, and I told, but are you still in the offer? No, but I'm still paying. But why are you paying? Because I signed up a contract.
Yeah.
Need to pay if you don't want. And I was like, do you like your students, your clients to do the same to you? Because I was blown away with he was for the sale, right? So, but it was so wrong. And yes, there are rules that it's common sense to follow the rules. But yes, I saw the importance of having things written, because if they are not, people, even I told him I signed the contract. He was telling I didn't need to complain the contract. So I was blown away with him. I wanted to ask you. I love it, this perspective of boundaries, because it was a little bit different of what I was expecting, and I love it that this, because many times when we go into business, we only think about the boundaries we need to put to on our schedule, like you have 3 weeks of work, one to rest. Many times we only think about that, and it was my perspective when we scheduled this, and I love all the perspective you brought, because I believe you brought many awareness to a lot of people around this. But now I want to flip a little bit and ask you how you feel it was important to have the type of business you have now with the 3 weeks. It was also a way of setting boundaries, right?
Yes. So most of the things that I've done, to be honest, have been because I've been forced by life to do them. So for example, and I'm just only going to talk about the online, because most people I work with have businesses online. I do have people with product-based businesses, so they work offline, and mostly in product creation, like they are designers, they create clothing. Most of them are with clothing now. But I'm going to talk about the online experience. So everything that I did, and the fact that today I'm having this business model, was because life forced me. And something that we as business owners sometimes believe, and this is a false belief, is that some things can't be done. My clients can't come between these hours. My clients need to come at weekends. My clients need to come in the evening. My clients can't do this, and my clients can't do that. And I believe the same thing. I can't enforce certain boundaries. I can't work between certain hours. I can't work only 3 weeks. I can't do this. I can't do that, because it was my mindset and it was my belief, wrong, that people can't come. Well, actually they can. So when I transitioned from one-to-one to groups, I had, by that moment, I had marketed my businesses as I'm working one-to-one, because one-to-one is better. You get more support. But when I was like capped and I couldn't get more clients, I was like, I need to put these people in groups. How am I going to transfer these people whom I told, having one-to-one is the magical thing? How am I going to put them into groups? So I put them into groups. I transitioned them in 1 week, but I also gave them 20 minutes of one-to-one. So they went from 90 minutes one-to-one, 90-minute one-to-one, to 20-minute one-to-one, and some group sessions a week. But I transformed that, and I included that in my boundaries, and I explained that it was to help them connect, not be alone, learn from others, and so on. And then, so I used to work Monday to Sunday when I started online. Then I took out the Sunday, then I took out the Saturday, but I still believed for a very long time that I have to work on Saturday, because people, they are at work during the week and they are free on Saturday. So I have to be free on Saturday. And I took that one out. And then the week off, I took it out because of Rebecca. When Rebecca went to school, she had a week off every 5 to 6, 7 weeks, something very strange here in the UK. And I said, at first, 1 or 2 holidays, I sent her to some camps, but she really didn't like it. I felt she didn't have a holiday. And so I said, okay, I'm going to take this week. I'm always going to take it off. But I'm the type of person who really needs structure, and it didn't fit my head, didn't do well with having a random week off every 5, 6, or 7. I couldn't put that in my contract, and it didn't seem logical for my clients. Like, out of the blue, this week I'm not doing it because the program was fixed, the structure is fixed. So I decided I'm going to take a week off every month. And then I realized that some months are longer, so I can't take just a week off every month. And I said, okay, let's do like this. I'm only going to work 3 weeks. And if there are 4 weeks or 5 weeks in a month, the other weeks are going to be off. And the program was structured like this. So when I send my program, I send my calendar. I have my calendar for all 2025. And I normally do it in summer when I get Rebecca's holidays for the next year. So I put her holidays in, and then I put my other weeks in, and I make sure every month I only work 3 weeks. So for this one, I implemented it because of need, not because I believed beforehand that, I had to do that. It was forced. I was forced to do it. I had her at home, and it was difficult to work with her. And I then arranged it so it's logical for my brain, and then I communicated it to my clients. So I have the calendar. They know, for example, next week, they know that we are going to have holidays for 2 weeks. They have what they have to do during those weeks. So it's holiday for me. It's not holiday for them. And yes, it was really important to have this business model and to communicate it clearly to people. And nobody has had any problem. So if there are changes that you need to make for yourself, it's just in your head that you can't do it. If people like you, if people think you are helpful, if people want to work with you, they are going to accept the rules that you have, the boundaries that you have, the schedule that you have, because they like you. So as I was saying, I work with people between 10 and 3 now. So these are my working hours in my two businesses from Monday to Friday, 3 weeks a month. And that's it. Everyone was able to adapt to this.
Did your model already inspired other of your clients to try to do the same, or
Yes.
at least inspired to
Yeah.
do something that would get them more boundaries settled and more freedom?
Yes. All the clients that I work with one-to-one have implemented this model. Especially that, so as I was telling you, I started like with a tech membership, but the tech before this, I was also a business coach for English language teachers. So I didn't just become English language coach overnight. I did some things before, and then I started with tech, then I went into digital marketing. And then when I started in digital marketing, as I was saying, the problem was not the marketing, was the offer or the launch. And then, because most of the time was the offer, we had to create, so they usually have an idea of an offer, and they have some steps, but they're not very clear on all the transformation. Because I'm a teacher and a trainer, I put a lot of focus on curriculum and what's included and how the client goes through all the steps. And because we recreate, we optimize the offer, we also organize it so we can have free time. So yes, every offer they put out there now is with, most of them are with 3 weeks. I can't say like all of them, because there are some. I have a client who chose to have a week off every 6 weeks. 2 weeks off every 6 weeks, because that's how her program is. She wants continuation, but then she wants her free time. But yeah, any business can be adapted to this model. And when we create offers, most of the time, in 90% of cases, we create them like that, because it's much easier to introduce everything when you create the offer than do as I did. I already had the offers, and I had to make sure I took steps to change them, and implement and make my clients follow the new rules.
Mm, yes, yes, I love that. I love that, and it's very inspiring because after all, introverts, the main goal of introverts is having more freedom, and that model is really really great. So to recap, let us know what are the first steps to set boundaries as introvert entrepreneurs so they can um, save their energy, which is a big thing for introverts, and have a better relationship with clients.
Yeah. So the first thing, it depends on where you are on your business. Have you started a business, or you haven't started a business, or you are in the early stages? If you have started a business, it's much easier, because you need to write down all the things that people made you suffer, all the times they stepped a boundary, or they made you feel bad or sad. Every time this happened, you should write it down and think how it made you feel and what you would have liked. So it's really important to write down, okay, this happened, but I would have liked this to happen. Boom, this to happen is one of your boundaries, which needs to go inside. Now, if you haven't started, or you are in your early stages, you don't really have clients, then it's you again think about everything that you want. How do you want to be paid? How do you want to work? When you want to have the holidays, everything. write them down. And once you write them down, these are just going to naturally go into your terms and conditions and contracts, and nobody should work without terms and conditions or contracts. So there is no understanding, because when we are businesses, we can also have legal problems. We might have to take people to court. I had to have this chat with a former client who actually, she was a lawyer and she didn't want to pay, and I contacted lawyers here in the UK, and I did the things that I had to do. So it's really important to have the lists of what you want, what clients would expect from you, what you would expect from your clients, what you would expect for yourself, with what you want for yourself. And when you have them, you include them in your terms and conditions. Now, you also need to check the law for every country. Yeah. So for example, in the UK, because I'm business to business in both businesses, even in my language school, I work with professionals who need to learn English for school. So because I am business to business, the consumer law doesn't apply to me. So I can say I provide no refunds. I can do certain things because I am also covered by the law. So write them down, check the law, put them in your terms and conditions, put them in your sales pages and in your marketing. Talk about them. Yeah, talk about them. Don't let people guess. Talk about them. When they come and they see them on your sales page, they shouldn't be like, if you, for example, now go to my sales page, and the only offer I'm promoting this year is my in-demand offer creator. If you go to the sales page now, even before you read it, you know you're going to expect me to work only 3 weeks. You're going to expect me to answer your messages between 4 and 6 UK time from Monday to Friday during those 3 weeks. You know there's going to be things for you to do during the holidays, and you can also contact me in case of emergency, but most of the time nothing happens. So if I communicate this in my messaging, people know. This also, communicating in the messaging attracts a certain type of person, because if someone doesn't like the fact that I work 3 weeks, if someone doesn't like the fact that I only answer between this and this, they will not come and work with me. They will not pay for my service only to find out afterwards that I work 3 weeks and be upset with that. This is not something we should be hiding. I tell my prices. I haven't put, for example, the sales page on, but I have in my Facebook post, I put the price. I don't hide anything. I don't hide the money. I don't hide the price, the pricing, the money. I don't hide how much I work. I don't hide anything, because this is what empowered buyers and informed buyers want. Most of the time, lurkers are empowered buyers who just, follow us. Sometimes they might not even like our posts, and when they see an offer, they just get it.
Thank you so much, Valentina. Tell us how people can find you.
So on Facebook, first of all, then on Instagram, and I'm working now on my LinkedIn account, which has been old, but I need to update it. And because working business to business, that is the place where I should actually be. It's also my website, valentinapopescu.com, but you can find me on Facebook. Normally, I spend most of my time on Facebook.
And thank you, Valentina, for your time and energy on this.
Thank you too, and it was lovely being here tonight.